Hi, fifth grade. Hopefully you just heard me say hi, fifth grade, because I'm noticing that when I record these videos, sometimes it takes a second for the audio to kick in. But here you are, here I am. Welcome to art class. If you haven't noticed, we are not live. This is the first asynchronous video lesson of the year, and it's something new that we're going to be working on together. Okay, so hopefully you've already kind of learned to understand this, but you are going to have art at the same time each week, except every other week, you'll be here with me on video, not live. Okay. It's a little bit different than a normal internet video. Okay. So, like if you were watching a drawing video on YouTube, you'd probably watch, it might be like a 10-minute long video, and you might pause it a couple times. You might take your time going through things, stop things and erase. And you are certainly welcome to pause my video at any time you need to take a restroom break, need to catch up on the drawing, whatever it is you need to do, you can pause it. But what I'm going to try to do is make this as close to a normal class as possible. Okay. So I want to spend 30 minutes with you. So the difference is instead of you clicking join Zoom meeting and meeting me live where we can have a conversation back and forth, now you're just going to press play. And you can certainly have a conversation with me. I just won't hear you. And that'll be just fine. And maybe your parents think you're a little bit of a crazy person. And there might be even times when I ask you to say things out loud, like we would in normal school. Okay. I want it to seem and feel like our normal lessons, or at least our normal remote lessons, as much as possible. So understand that while I'm teaching, I might make mistakes. I might say the word a lot. I do that a lot when I talk anyway. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to just kind of keep it like normal. I'm not going to stop and edit my videos. So whatever you see is me pressing record, and 30 minutes later, class will be over. Okay. So welcome in. We're going to try this together, and you are responsible for the work that gets done during class. So make sure that you're doing everything you need to be doing as I'm doing it. And I'm going to tell you what to do. You can watch what to do, listen what to do, and you'll see what to do as the video goes on. So today we're going to keep working on your three-dimensional one-point perspective name project. Okay. So today, as far as supplies go, you are going to want a pencil. Make sure that pencil is extra sharp. You may want a pink eraser nearby just to clean things up. You're going to want your ruler, okay? And then, of course, you're going to want your name project, okay? For each class, I did a different example. So I'm going to use Giovanni's name to do our example today, all right? So this is what you need. And we're going to put this name into one-point perspective today. So we've already learned how to do this. We've practiced how to do it, all right? The last time we were live together, we drew the name and I kind of talked to you about how to do that. If you are not finished with your name, you're going to want to pause this video and get your name finished right now. Certainly don't just watch me, okay? And then come back later. And that's a good rule for everybody. While you're watching this video, you're learning with me. You're not just doing this. Yeah, Mr. Bremer, later you're going to talk to me. Yeah, Mr. Bremer, I watched your video. I don't want you to watch my video. I want you to learn from this video. We're learning together. You are in my class right now. We're here together. Okay, so get out all of your supplies that you're going to need, and let's switch to the above camera view here and talk about how to do the next step. Okay, so I'm going to zoom on in. The other thing I'm going to do real quick is sharpen up my pencil, because my pencil is not super sharp, and the sharper the pencil, the better. Remember also, you want to draw lightly, okay? So I've drawn dark already, okay? You can see my guidelines here are light. I'm going to draw at least that dark, just so it shows up really well on camera. But if I were drawing just for myself, I would keep my lines ultra light, because I want to be able to erase them super easily. So once this is done, then you're going to put your vanishing point on your piece of paper. Now, I'm going to put it right along the bottom edge. And I'm going to put it sort of in the middle. You might put it in the corner if you wanted to. Just to show you, here's an example of what it looks like from the corner. And this was on a piece of paper that's twice as big as that one. So from the corner, it kind of goes out like this. So just to show you two different examples, I'll do this one in the middle. And also to show you, like if you've got a ruler nearby, which you should, because that's how you're making your straight lines, you can measure this side of your paper and put it exactly in the middle. So my piece of paper that I have is a 12-inch long piece of paper. So I'm going to put a little dot right at the 6. That is literally in the middle of my page. Now, your paper, I'm guessing, if you're using like a piece of computer paper, let me grab a scratch sheet nearby here. If you're doing a scratch sheet of paper, or sorry, a computer piece of paper or a notebook paper, it's probably going to be 11 inches long, okay? So what's half of 11? Everybody say it out loud right now. What's half of 11? Where's the halfway point? It's not going to be at 6. It's not going to be at 5, because half, that would be half of 10. It's 5.5. So if you want to put yours right in the middle and you've got an 11-inch long piece of paper, go ahead and get your ruler measured from here and put your mark at 5.5 inches. So mine is longer than that though. I have a 12-inch long sheet of paper, so that's my middle spot. Now, we want to make each one of these letters 3D. So we're going to make all of these 3D by drawing them to the vanishing point, okay? I'm going to skip the G. I think you should probably start on your first letter, but just to remind everybody how to make sort of a three-dimensional block, all right? I'm going to start with a rectangle shape. So the I is a rectangle shape, so let's start there. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of my guideline, just so that's sort of out of the way and it's not confusing for you to look at while I draw this. So remember that when we drew a rectangle, we got to line everything up carefully with the vanishing point and the corners of that box. Okay, so our I is our box. There's one line right there. Okay, I'm going to go to the next corner right here. And there we go, like that. Now, the top of the I, this is where it gets a little different. So I'm going to start up here and I'm going to connect that as well. Okay. However, look at the O. I don't want to draw a line through this O. In fact, if the O is a three-dimensional letter, the O will be in front of this side of the I. So when we draw this line, you can't make it up. Make sure you are connecting to the vanishing point. So there's my vanishing point there. And I'm going to draw a line starting here. And as soon as I get to the O, right there, let me get my hand out of the way and show that a little closer. Right there, I'm going to stop right at that point. Okay. Now, when I draw the O, you will see that that's in front of that. All right. But that's how I do that. Now, just to show you again what this looks like in a different case, like the F, right? I just drew this line right here on my I. It stopped when it hit that letter. The O goes from here, it stops when it hits the letter because you can see the side of this F, right? But this F here is in front of it, which is a little bit weird. And some people can see this right away and it makes total sense. Other people, it's like, what is going on here? All right, so if you have not started drawing along with me, this is what I want you to do right now. So get your pencil out, get your ruler out, and draw your first letter too. So if you have not yet started drawing your first letter, do that, okay? We're gonna work together now. You can work on your letters, I'm gonna work on my letters. And I'm gonna still just kind of talk through it while I'm doing it. But you just kind of hang out and work with me. So we'll work together, all right? Let me remove this pin here. There we go. Now, going back to the G, the reason I didn't want to start with a G is because the G is a little bit tricky because it's round, right? Letters that have corners on them are a little bit easier to draw in one-point perspective. since it's round, remember when we talked about that word called a tangent point? That one spot where a line will touch the outside of a circle. Well, this is not a circle, but it is a round shape. So what we want the same thing. I'm going to line up my vanishing point, and then I'm going to take my ruler, okay? I'm taking my ruler, and I'm going to just until right there, right when it touches that. If I go here, that is the wrong spot to draw the line. I don't want to draw a line that goes through my G, okay? I want it to just touch the outside of the G. There we go, okay? So if you're doing a round letter, kind of watch how I'm doing this. I just realized that I drew that super lightly, so I'm going to try to make that darker so it shows up a little better on camera. There we go. Okay, now, what else do we need to do for the G? Well, there needs to be no lines here because this is a round shape, okay? So I don't need to worry about anything right here. I do need to worry about a line right here. And here's another case. The I is in my way, all right? That's fine. I'm gonna just draw. It's still connected to the vanishing point. Always, always, always connected to the vanishing point. And there we go. Now, another tricky spot on the G is we're going to see this part underneath the little hook of the G. We need to connect that to our vanishing point also. So let's do that right now. Okay. And then we're going to need these 2 points right here. So connect this to the vanishing point. Again, only drawing up to the I. Okay, now if your G happens to like curve up like this, okay, mine doesn't, but let's say your G kind of curved up like this, then you would also need to kind of connect a little bit just to see like the top of the G curving around like that, all right? But mine doesn't, so the curve of my G kind of follows this line, so there will not be another line that I really see there. So I don't need to see that part of the G. So let me just kind of redraw that in real quick. I guess that, you know what, now that I'm looking at it, I could try to do just the skinniest line right there. Yeah, so I see just a little bit, you may not even see that, just that little teeny tiny opening. All right, then I don't need to even worry about this because this is all curved, right? And so the G is a little bit of a weird shape when you think about it. And it all kind of goes and is tucked behind the I next to it. So that's what you want to do. Start on this side of your paper and go letter to letter. If you are not drawing right now, start drawing, okay? Make sure that you go letter by letter. Now, if you only have, say, 4 letters or so, or 5 letters in your name, and you get done with this super fast, go ahead and kind of double check. Make sure you've got lines from the bottom and lines from the top. But also just kind of watch along as I'm doing it, because as I've got a couple different shapes of letters here, and as you watch me work, you might have similar shaped letters that this will sort of help you with, all right? So here's my O. I found that tangent point there. I don't need to draw the inside of the O because this is round here, so I'm not worried about seeing the inside of the O. And then this side of the O here. Now look at this. So this one's next to the I ran into the O, okay, when I drew that. But the O does not run into the V. Well, one of the reasons for that is because of where it's starting to be, where it is in relationship to the vanishing point. So as we get closer to the middle of the name, this is right above the vanishing point. So it doesn't necessarily run into the side of the B. Now, will this corner meet the vanishing point? It will. Okay, so I'm going to draw from here a line. I'm going to draw from here a line, here a line, and here a line. Okay, now I'm running into the side of the A, so I'm going to stop when I hit the A. Now, what I have seen kids do, let me show you something that's wrong, okay? So sometimes what I see kids do is they stop here, and then they keep going here. And then they got a ton of lines down here, like way too many lines. So like, let's pretend I was doing the I again. So they do the I, and they draw this, and then they keep doing that, like that. That's wrong, because like, let's imagine that this is solid. We won't see that. So make sure you're not picking it up and drawing extra lines. You stop when you hit the letter next to the letter you're just drawing. All right, I'm going to just go right down the line. And we're going to go ahead and work on this name, finish this thing up. Take your time with this. There's a good chance that I am working faster than you are. And the reason why I'm probably working faster than you is I have done this a ton of times, okay? I have a lot of practice doing this style of artwork and one-point perspective drawings. So I know what I'm doing. And I kind of know some tips and tricks to kind of move along fast. Notice how I don't really move my ruler a lot when I just kind of move through the A. So there's the A, that's looking pretty good. Now look at this. In our practice drawing, we did not draw a line from here because when we did our practice drawing, our A was over here and we would not see that line. But I'm looking here, look at this. We can connect this to the vanishing point and we will see that. So this is the left side of the inside of the A right here, and this is the right side of the inside of the A. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with my N. I'm gonna stop because I hit the A. Gonna go to the bottom of the N, and hopefully you're on letter 2 or 3 by now. If you're not, make sure you, again, I wanna make sure you are drawing along with me right now. You know what I think we need? Just the shortest of breaks. I heard some rustling around and I was like, what is going on there? You know what it is? It's a little pixie in her little house. There she is. Hey, kid. All right. Puppy break is over. Back to the artwork. If you got a puppy, make sure you hug it. Not too tight though. Now your picture, if it's like mine, it's going to look kind of busy. Look at all these lines going on here. I mean, it's getting a little busy, right? This is going to be a lot easier to tell apart once you start coloring it in. Right now with all these lines, yes, it looks a little crazy, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think colored pencils are probably going to be the best bet for coloring this thing in. I used markers on my original one. This one used markers. But I'm thinking about that was twice the size as this one. And I know you guys don't have that larger paper right now at home. So I think this is probably the way to go. Oh, sorry about that. Hang on a second. Let me pause this. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. There's one issue when I'm making these videos is that the camera that I am using is also my phone. And I didn't really think about this when I'm making these recordings, you guys. If somebody calls me, it stops recording. So that's why I paused it. So that's the little blip in the video right there. Stop the, sorry about that. Let's remove this. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna just go ahead and finish these letters up. So I got a couple more to go. Make sure you do this part of the N. If you have something like that, if you have the letter E, make sure you do the undersides of the E, if that makes sense, like the little things that stick. I don't know what you would call those parts of a letter E. Now, if you're like having trouble with a particular letter, you're like, gosh, I don't know how to put that in one-point perspective. You know what you do? Just don't do it right now. Wait on it and bring it to class. So when we meet live, we can talk about exactly what to do next. Okay. So right now, this is where you should be at. You want to kind of finish it all up so that it looks like this. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to clean up everything. Get rid of your guidelines. You don't need those. Okay. You know how in the original practice, what we did is I showed you how to do the back side of a a three-dimensional shape. So like when we did the box, for example, when we did something that looked like this, we had it sort of looking like that, and then we drew the back side of it so it looked like that, right? Well, these letters, and you could do that. You could do that with these letters, all right? So like I could do the back side of the G and the I and the O, but honestly, that would be kind of hard. And I would say some of you would be up for that challenge for sure, but that is sort of advanced level 1 point perspective, especially with these odd shapes and how close we put them together. So my thought is this is going to look pretty cool, just like this. So we're going to leave it like this. So your name is done. Now you're going to color it in. Okay, so go ahead and grab some colored pencils. If you don't have colored pencils, then what you might consider is marker, especially fine tip markers. It is going to be like if you're using a marker, think about this, the thick tip markers, it's going to be pretty tough to get into those little detailed areas. So you might not want to use marker unless that's all you have. If it's all you have, hey, it's all you have. We're kind of making do with the things that we have this year. So that is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and start coloring it in. That's what you should do too. So go ahead and grab a colored pencil and start coloring it in. Don't color in the letters. Let's leave the letters. We're going to add pattern to the letters, and let's hold off on the letters. So leave your letters open. We'll finish those up in class. I'm going to share some resources for you, what to do with these letters in class. So grab your colored pencils if you haven't already, and get to work on coloring. Now, some of you might still be drawing your lines, all right? If you are not behind, all right? It does take a little while to do this, and it takes practice. So I'd rather you take your time and go slowly than go really fast and have something that looks super sloppy. But if you are done, then yeah, let's start coloring these in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose different colors for the 3D parts of my letter, okay? So basically everything but the letter. You're going to want to go one letter at a time. And the reason why is because it can get a little bit confusing about what lines belong to what letter, all right? So like if I look here, I can tell where the A is, no problem. But if I look down here, what are the lines that belong to the A and what are the lines that belong to the N and the N and the B? It's really tough to tell. But if you start up here and go one letter at a time, it is not as hard to tell, okay? So let's do that. Going ahead and coloring down to here. Let's just see kind of how far we get today. I'm using my technique where I kind of color little chunks at a time. I'm not trying to race through this thing. Remember, guys, the goal of coloring is to make it so the paper is not white anymore. Okay, now you want advanced level, okay? Here's a way you could go advanced level. Think about some shading that you could do. So like the underside of this, I could maybe make that a little darker there. And maybe a little darker in here. That'll just sort of help differentiate the shape and the inside from the outside of my G here. It's not perfect, but it's something you could consider doing. There we go. So I think I'm going to go with like a cool color theme here. I'm going to got a couple different shades of blue. So this is sort of a lighter sky blue, and it's just the average Crayola blue colored pencil, a little darker. Let's see what this looks like next to that. And this is what I mean. So now getting down here into this sort of skinny area here. one piece at a time. And I'm all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make this the bottom of this eye and make a little bit darker than the side of the eye. And it makes me think that I should maybe make this darker also. I'm not, right now, I'm not following sort of true shading rules, like imagining where the light source is and what should truly be darker and not darker. I'm more kind of thinking about the overall design and how to make it just look good. Those of you who like listening to sounds like this without my voice. All right. Now, let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right. So I'm going to go green. I think I'm going to do these 4 colors like that. And then I'm either going to reverse them. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. This O, super easy because it's just sort of a large triangle to color in. I'm going to get through the V here. I think that'll take us to about 30 minutes. Hopefully at home right now, you've kind of started to add some color and your lines are done. You're feeling good. You know, maybe you might feel a little stuck and you got halfway through this and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And that's the problem with these asynchronous lessons is I can't offer you help right now. You will be responsible for this work though. So it is important that if you don't know what you're doing, to stop and make sure you ask questions. Maybe send me an email right now, like, I am totally lost, Mr. Bremer. I need help one-on-one. And I will help you. I want to help you out, okay? Let's do one more letter. See what this V looks like here. And this is where, like, so now I can tell these lines apart a little bit better because I started up here and went down there. So like these next few lines, those are all part of the A. That will be easy enough to sort of tell apart. Ooh, do I need one there? I don't think so, no. Okay, so I think this is a good spot to stop. Okay, so we've spent our 30 minutes together. I'm guessing that I'm a little further ahead than you are. My guess is that you have your letters done, hopefully. Maybe you've started coloring. And then bring this to class. And we're going to catch up when we're live together. And we'll figure out what needs to happen next. And for each person, it's going to be a little bit different. Some kids might still need a little help with the 1-point perspective. Some of you are going to be further on the coloring and ready to add patterns. It's going to be different for everybody. So wherever you're at, you are responsible for this work. So I want you to bring it to class, ready to show it to me. Shoot me an email. If you have any questions, please, please, please use email to get in touch with me. If you do not know how to write an email, ask your homeroom teacher. Ask them, Miss Dominguez, Miss Ortiz, Miss Poletti, ask them, how do I write an email to Mr. Bremer to ask him a question, Okay, do that. In the meantime, I cannot wait to see you guys live again. I've missed you guys, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.